In the city of Abuja, a creative force is redefining the world of fashion. Meet Shekwoyemi Yakubu, a visionary fashion stylist and consultant, born into a family of entrepreneurs and creatives. Growing up in an environment that fostered creativity and innovation, Shekwoyemi's passion for fashion was ignited.
My name is Shekwoyemi. I am a Nigeria-based fashion stylist consultant and a multi-dimensional creative. I was born into a family of entrepreneurs. My dad's an architect. My mom is an artist, like paints, draws. She also does upholstery, furniture. She's into the furniture business. So I grew up in the midst of creatives and money-minded people. My 3 older brothers are all entrepreneurs themselves. So I think the creativity comes very naturally to me. It's an innate thing. I don't struggle with creativity apart from it being God-given. Yes.
As an intentional stylist, Shekwoyemi pays meticulous attention to the vision of her clients. Her dedication to understanding their unique needs sets her apart in the industry.
I like to refer to myself as the intentional stylist because I'm someone who pays insane, in quote, very insane attention to detail, because details are what make up an entire look. You could give me a basic dress and I would elevate it from 0 to 1,000 in a second by curating what the end result, what the look should look like for whatever the occasion is, from head to toe, from the hairstyle to maybe a headpiece to the makeup theme or palette to the jewelry and other accessories. My creative process begins with conceptualization, of course. The client makes an inquiry, I want to be styled for so event or so photo shoot, and then the client comes with maybe their concept or inspirations. You ask them what they want, what their aim, or what the goal of that shoot is, and then you build on the concept, you build on the inspirations until you have a solid structure of what the end result should be like, or what they should look like for whatever the occasion it is that they hired you for.
For her, fashion styling is not just a profession, but it's a calling. She believes that the impact of a fashion stylist goes beyond mere aesthetics. It's about empowering individuals to express themselves confidently.
COVID made me realize that you could make money from anywhere. Like, you don't have an excuse to be poor. You literally do not have an excuse to be poor. I've always been a fashion stylist all my life. Like, I've been the family go-to consultant when it comes to fashion or anything styling, or when it just generally comes to looking good. I styled my cousins basically for their weddings, free of charge. I didn't know I could make money from it. I wish I knew about it, but that's by the way, right? Yeah, so I went for this wedding during COVID. It was in my area. And honestly, I think I look better than the bride. Like, I'm not bluffing. And I wished I styled her. But then when I got back home and I was thinking about it, and I thought to myself, how would she have known? How could she have known when you are not out there? When she hasn't seen you do this thing for her to know that, I could consult her, I could have her style me for my wedding. That gave me the innate push to leverage on online presence and just use that opportunity to make sure that I was out there and people knew me and saw me. So when COVID was over, people already knew the name. So it wasn't so much of a struggle to transcend from the online presence to the physical presence. But then there is that challenge, there's always been that challenge of acceptance. People can willingly choose to pay a tailor or a fashion designer, but there's always that struggle when you tell them, hire a fashion stylist. Why do I need her? I already have a tailor, I already have a designer. But now people are beginning to see the difference and how better the result is when you have a fashion stylist and a fashion designer work together. The magic is always wow at the end of the day. I remember when I started out and it was as though there was no room for me at the table. I brought my chair and I positioned it at the table and I said, I'm not moving. And that has been my story. And I think it resonates with every fashion, maybe almost every fashion stylist in the Nigerian creative industry or in the Nigerian fashion industry. There's always been that struggle to accept us, to pay us what we are worth, because people didn't really think we were relevant or important, but now people are beginning to see the relevance and the great relief that a fashion stylist can bring to your life when you don't have to worry about how you look or what you look like for whatever the occasion is.
However, her journey as a fashion stylist wasn't without its challenges. Despite initial resistance from her family, Shekwoyemi remained committed to her craft as she poured her heart and soul into building her skills, and eventually her family came to accept and support her passion.
When I started out, my family didn't support my dream because they did not understand it. So I worked in the aviation sector for 14 months. And when I remember telling my boss I was leaving, and he just could not, he said, what's the problem? Is it the salary? Is anybody harassing me? You know, he was beginning to cause, no, it's nothing of the sort. I just did not feel fulfilled going to work every day and being in the control tower and doing all that. It was just monotonous for me. You know, I got bored, really. It wasn't the money. I just really got bored. I wasn't enjoying work anymore. And I told myself it was time to leave, you know. My mom could not understand why I would leave such a viable sector to do fashion what? Till date, if you ask my mom categorically what I do, she can't tell you. She just tell you the girl says she's doing her fashion thing and she leaves it at that, you know. So it was a struggle right from my family. They just didn't understand it. So they're like, okay, you know what? You're on your own, you know. But I tell people, when God gives you that calling, people around you don't need to understand it because it is not a general calling. It was your calling. So once you have God and you have yourself and you have focus, because you could easily get swayed and easily get distracted. Once you know where you're headed, it's easier. So you have to be your number one fan first. I didn't give two hoops whether my parents accepted it or not. Right now, they're at the point where they don't even understand it, but they've accepted it because I don't beg them for nothing. I don't rely or depend on them for anything. It's the other way around now. So they know, okay, this thing is viable. We just didn't understand it, but now it makes sense that she could make money from it. It makes sense that, oh, she would go and style or dress someone, as my mom would say, in her archaic, vocabulary and get paid for it. So I would say you're your number one support system because truly, your dreams are really not meant to be understood by anyone other than yourself. So when you push and pin and stay on it, people would begin to see it and realize in the longer run. But in the very beginning, it's really not for anybody to understand. It's for you to heed to whatever calling it is, like your purpose. And that was an early on realization for me. Like, I knew I was born to do this. I knew I was born to make people look good, to make people feel good, to restore people's confidence. I can't tell you how many people after a styling session would text me or call me or cry and say, I never thought I could look this good. I never saw myself in this light, but you've made me look at myself very differently. Like, that's everything. Apart from the money is very important, yes. But when you impact positively into somebody's life with what you do with your hands or your mind, it's just sheer fulfillment. I don't think anything compares to that feeling, really. When you call the Empress, everybody knows there's something different, there's something unique. The detailing is what will catch your attention first. I'm wearing just a plain green dress, but when I walk into a room, my confidence will get you first. Maybe my fragrance, because I smell good. Right? Maybe my fragrance, but the accessories or how I complement what I'm wearing will get you first. So I think that is one thing that greatly sets me apart from my peers.
Despite her successes, Shekwoyemi has faced challenges as well, including gender equality issues and frustration from 11th hour requests from clients.
It is very sad and unfortunate, but there's a lot of misogyny in the creative industry. It's something that people shy away from talking about because it seems so gender sensitive, and we who talk about it come off as feminists, right? I've gone to jobs and I really do not know what they were expecting. So most times when I'm on particularly wedding teams where you have the photographers or the videographers being male, and then you are the only female there, they want to overshadow you. They almost always never want to listen to you. Oh, na woman safe. Who be this one where they come give us directives? You know, they feel like you should shrink yourself because you're a woman. And then they outnumber you. But anybody who knows me and anybody who has listened to me speak to women, I'd always tell women, in the patriarchal society of ours, power will not be given to you as a woman. So what do? You demand it or you take it. And you don't let it go until it is time to let it go. It is just what it is. And that's why it's often been said that women abuse power when they get power. Why do you think they do that? It's because it's often not given to them, even when it is theirs, rightfully, or when they deserve it, or when they earn it. So of course, when they have it, they would want to show you what they can do with it. And oftentimes it comes off as abuse, or if it becomes extreme usage of whatever power it is. Another challenge I would say I face, and I think I'll talk on behalf of a wide number of fashion stylists, is it's still that struggle to accept the relevance of us. So you see clients who have major events reaching out to you a night to the event, thinking you're a magician. Like, what can I pull off in barely 7 or 8 hours? You just feel, oh, it's quick. But like I tell people, the creative process is not like that. Excellence doesn't happen by mistake. It's very intentional. You have to build it up. It's not quick. Sometimes, even when you master an art, there are masterpieces that would still demand time, energy, effort, and intentionality. So there's still that struggle, of clients understanding that this is a curated process. It cannot be rushed. It shouldn't be rushed. Contact your fashion stylist early enough to give them room and time to make the necessary arrangements, make the necessary plans, to make sure that whatever it is that you want to achieve at your shoot or at your event or whatever the occasion is being achieved.
As a trailblazer in her field, her advice to young women is to be clear, to know their why, to stay focused, not to lose their values, and know their worth.
Why do I want to go into this? Is it how it's been portrayed on social media? Because trust me, you cannot be a lazy person and be a fashion stylist, both mentally and physically. There are days I stand for 13 to 14 hours on my feet, especially when you're styling maybe 5 to 6 looks in in a day. And you dare not sit down because you are the end result fixer. When something goes wrong in a look, it's better off that there was no fashion stylist involved at all, because whatever hoops or mishaps would be blamed on ignorance, negligence and all of that. But that there was a fashion stylist and something is messed up, nobody's going to look for the designer. Nobody is going to look for the tailor. The first question that everyone is going to ask is, who styled it? Who was the stylist that approved this? Your stylist approved this hairstyle. Your stylist approved the makeup. So you really have to ask yourself why you want to be a fashion stylist in the first place. Because when life's challenges hit you, or when you're trying to pave your path in the industry and it seems so hard, and then there are odds coming at you from left, right, center, what would keep you grounded and have you pushing is the knowledge, is you knowing why you're there, why you want to be in that industry. Secondly, I will tell you, be focused, be very focused, because it is very easy to get distracted, to get swayed. And I think one very important thing I would tell that young person who wants to venture into fashion stylist is, don't be gullible. Don't be a gullible creative. Learn to be unbending and unyielding. When you walk into a room and you're offered opportunities that have to make you compromise your values, your beliefs, your standards, walk away. It's that simple. You walk away. In fact, you can create those opportunities for yourself, really. But do not ever give of yourself as desperate for fame, for wealth, because it will always land you in trouble. Maybe the fourth thing I would say is, don't ever play with your money. Money is important. But I'm not saying let that be the bane of your business. But you have to understand that running a business out of passion, it can be tricky, because people would want to take advantage of you. People would want to ride on you with no remorse, without even looking back. So what you can do for yourself is build your policies, have a properly structured business, give invoices to your clients, have rate cards. When you're starting up, I'm not saying you should come and start charging millions like I do. No. Because, what are you really charging millions of naira for as a startup? I think that's one thing that I would really want to talk to the, in quotes, Gen Z baddies about. You want to make that money now, quick. It doesn't happen like that. You have to build a portfolio, you have to build a reputation, you have to build a career to the point that when you charge an amount of money, the client doesn't shake, they're not gibberish. Even you aren't gibberish. So when you charge maybe ₦1 million or 2 million naira for a job, and the client says, oh, I can only afford to pay 500,000. You don't even get upset. You just smile and you're like, I'm sorry. It's not what you're looking for, So be dedicated to your craft, be committed, and most importantly, have God as your source. Man is not your source. God is your only source, and God is the giver of creativity. Because once you want to start relying on yourself, you could miss it, really. You could miss it. You could really miss it. Maybe. I think it's important though, but be very mindful of the company that you keep. I couldn't have gotten to where I am today without being very careful about not just my friends, but people I surround myself with, even in the creative industry. Because you could easily be influenced, you could easily be swayed, you could easily give up certain things like your values, your very core values, simply because you want to be famous, you want to be seen out there, rolling with the big guys, with the celebrities. Be very, very wary of that kind of lifestyle and who you surround yourself with. Because truth is, that adage might sound very old, but show me your friends, really, and I'll tell you who you are. And it goes same as even good company can be corrupted by bad, or good manners can be corrupted. Yes, I think that's how it's been said. Good manners can be corrupted by bad company. So I'll leave it at that, because a word is enough for the wise.
Her story is a reflection of passion, perseverance, and staying true to oneself. And as a fashion stylist, a consultant, and creative force, Shekwoyemi continues to inspire and empower others to find their own unique voice.
Good manners can be corrupted by bad company. It's something that my mom, I think there were two things actually my mom would always say at that time. When she's dropping us off at school, and she will tell you, remember, good manners can be corrupted by bad company. And I think one thing that would die with me, that I would pass on to my children, is for every action, whether good or bad, there is a consequence. My name is Shekwoyemi Yakubu. I'm a Nigerian-based fashion stylist, consultant, and multifaceted creative. And this is my Girl Power story.